Well, you're not gonna believe what happened. That bird that I was videoing gobbling was on this bench, and this is 2 days after I shot that mature bird, and I hadn't heard anything gobbling over here. So that probably tells me that other bird was keeping the subordinate birds run off. But anyway, I called softly, and he flew right here, and there's no way I could get a shot. He flew behind my camera, so now he's in front of me. So I'm trying to call him back in. I think he's still going that way, so we gotta figure out how we're gonna get around him, get in front of him. Okay, for me, this is pretty tough to watch. After the bird flew basically straight into my lap at daylight, and I wasn't able to turn any cameras on, I decided to stay in the same position, reposition my cameras, and I kept calling. The bird eventually responded. He kept coming in closer. Then, he ultimately got quiet, and I knew he was looking. Well, I turned one camera on, and the other camera was in the open. And when I finally spotted the bird, I wasn't able to reach the second camera and get it turned on. So I don't shoot. I want to get better footage. That's one of the goals. But the other thing I want you to take a look at is how long this Tom sits there and waits, looking for the hen that he thinks should be there before he gobbles again.
Well, that didn't work out too good. He actually came back in. He got above me. You heard him gobbling. And I tried to turn this other camera on. I spooked him somehow. He's all the way across the other side. I mean, if I wasn't trying to video, you know, it'd be an easy hunt, but I had my cameras this way, and he actually came about 10 yards higher than what I was anticipating, so I'll start all over now. Yeah, I really messed that one up. I came here this morning. This is 2 days after I killed that really big tom, you know, 24-pound bird. And I was the one that never would come in. That might have been the one I've been hunting for, you know, these last 3 or 4 years. And I got to thinking, if it was a dominant bird, maybe he was keeping all the other subordinate birds run off. I hadn't heard anything gobble the first 3 weeks on this ridge. 2 days after I shot that big one, gobbling. And he was gobbling on the bench. I can get the camera over here. There's a bench. You can see where it flattens out. See the skyline right there, and then it flattens right there. It's only probably about 90 to 100 yards away. A couple of soft calls right at daylight, right when I thought he was going to fly down. I probably should have waited till he flew down. And he flew all the way behind me. And I couldn't get my cameras turned around, so I had to let him walk off. I let him walk off, and when he got far enough out of range, then I got everything turned around and started calling back to him. It wasn't 10 minutes, and he came above me. And then I tried to make a move with my camera when he was going behind some brush and stuff, and I spooked him. So now we're gonna go up here, and we're gonna go to these other spots we already got set up. But yeah, that's a little education there. Dominant birds can keep subordinate birds out of their area or out of their territory. I didn't know turkeys were that territorial, but I guess they are. Got on that one bird this morning. It's pretty much a rodeo, trying to get him on video. And I've heard one other bird off in the distance set up, and he never would come in. So coming over these little edges, and before you go over where they can't see you if they're down these hollers, call before you get to the edge. Okay, real quick, I want to put a wrap on that hunt and kind of go back over a few things just to make sure everyone's clear what happened. So this is 2 days after I shot that mature bird. And I hadn't heard any gobbling on that one ridge in, you know, years and years and years and years. There's always been consistent gobbling there. Walk in there that morning, there's a bird gobbling, so I circle around, get above them, I get set up perfectly. I wait till daylight, and I waited a little longer just to make sure that I didn't call too early. Made a couple of really soft yelps, did a little scratching in the leaves, and 5-10 minutes later, he flies straight to, I mean, he basically lands in my lap, which means he was about 10 yards away to my right, 10 to 15 yards away to my right. And I couldn't move. He flew straight to me, so I didn't get any video of that until afterwards, and I explained what happened. So I let him go, and then he came back when I called. So I called him, he came back, and then was just above me, about, I want to say 45 degrees above me on the ridge there. And as you could see from the footage, I tried to get the camera set up. He ended up spotting me and flying off. So it's one of those situations where, you know, 109 days, busted my hind end to kill a bird, and then walk in on the very first hunt after that, the bird gobbles and flies straight to me. So that's turkey hunting. So sometimes it takes a long period of time to
to get a harvest, and other times you walk in the woods and boom, they come straight into you. But I will say this, I haven't heard a lot of gobbling. I've talked to a lot of people, and I talked to a biologist in Ohio, and they have actually reduced their bird bag limit from 2 birds to 1 because population's dropping, and they're still trying to investigate. They're doing studies trying to understand why. I actually called the biologist in my home state, and they're also actively taking information from other hunters. I actually called in and said, hey, I just want to give you an observation. Hadn't heard a lot of birds, hadn't seen a lot of birds. And he said, yeah, I'm getting that from feedback from a lot of people. So, but they're doing research. They haven't heard or seen any evidence that there's a disease or something that's taking place, whether it's predators or not. So I was a little frustrated that I didn't harvest that bird and tag out again, but at the same time, haven't heard a lot. So as hunters, we're also conservationists, and we help manage the birds and the deer. We manage the herd and the flock. So worked out pretty good. So I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.